Alright guys, so because I'm not here today, I wanted to record this video for you to kind of go over the quiz questions from last night so that we can do our review of division. Now, I want you to remember what I said earlier. This is a review. So if the strategy, Division Man, is not working for you, then go back to whatever you were comfortable with using before, whether it's area model or break apart, however you want to do it. The important thing is that you know how to use division. Alright, so what was on the video last night was Division Man, which we did briefly show you. Division Man is standard algorithm for division. So what it looks like right here, how I have this the face of Division Man with the two division signs and the X and the mouth, these are just the steps to solve division problems. So it's not important that you remember Division Man or what he's about or the story behind it or whatever. The most important thing is that you remember the steps to solve division if you are choosing to use standard algorithm. Alright, so the first problem from the quiz last night, and I want you guys to make sure that you have out your math notebooks and that you're taking notes on how to solve these problems because not many of you were able to solve these problems correctly. So the first problem from last night was 488 divided by 4. So I am going to use standard algorithm or Division Man. So I'm going to set it up like this. Okay, so I know that for Division Man, I divide, multiply, subtract. So the first thing I look at is how many times can 4 go into my first place value here, which is 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. Okay, so that's my division. I can check this one off up here. Now I have to move into multiplication. So 4 times 1 is 4. So then I bring it down and then I subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. And then the last step of Division Man is to bring it down. So then I look to my next place value and I bring down the 8. Bring it down to right here. So then I just repeat the process again, division, multiplication, subtract, bring down. So divide, 8 divided by 4. Well, that goes in evenly, so 8 divided by 4 is 2. Multiply, 2 times 4 is 8, and then I subtract, 8 minus 8 is 0. And then my last step, bring down the 8. So then 4 into 8 is, again, 2, and that goes in evenly because 4 times 2 is 8, so I would have a remainder of 0. So my final answer is 122. Alright, so the second problem from last night, this one did not go in evenly, so you would have a remainder. So again, I'm going to use standard algorithm. I'm going to use my steps up here to remind me what my order is. And the thing from last night, which I saw a lot of you guys doing, which I also mentioned this morning, if you entered in your answer as whatever 0.3, then I know that you used a calculator because we have not taught you yet how to interpret a remainder and put it in as a decimal. The only way that you would have gotten a decimal is if you used a calculator. So using a calculator is not going to help you on this because you don't really know how to do division. You're just punching numbers into a calculator. So let's go through this step by step. First of all, can 6 go into 3? Nope, that doesn't go in evenly, so I have to look at it as a 39. So 6 can go into 39 6 times. So I'm going to put a 6 up here right underneath the second place value. Now I multiply 6 times 6 is 36. I subtract to get the difference. 39 minus 36 is 3. And then I have to bring it down. So now I bring down the 5 and I say how many times can 6 go into 35? Well, 6 times 5 is 30 and I would get 5 left over. And then I have one last step to bring down the 7 and see how many times 6 can go into 57. Well, I know that 6 times 9 is 54, and if I subtract that, I get 3 left over. So this is my final check to make sure that I know that this is the remainder. Can 6 go into 3? No, 6 cannot go into 3 because 3 is smaller. So I know that that's what's left over. I would have a remainder 3. So the correct answer from last night was 659, remainder 3. If you put 659.1 or whatever you did with the calculator, that was not correct. Now, there was a typo on the quiz from last night. So it said that the answer was like 359, remainder 3. If you put in 659 and it said it was incorrect because this 359 remainder of 3 was a typo, I typed it in incorrectly, then I went back through and gave you the points for 659 remainder 3. So if you missed only that one and you got a 2 out of 3, I went back and gave you 1 point, so you got 3 out of 3. Or if you had 1 out of 3 and you missed that one, then you would have 2 out of 3. So I went back to fix that. Okay? All right, and let's move on to our last problem from last night, which was 8,926 divided by 3. Again, I'm using standard algorithm. You don't have to use that, but you use whatever you are comfortable with. I know I talked to a lot of people this morning that said Division Man and standard algorithm helped them more than doing it with the area model. All right, so I'm looking here at my place values, and I see how many times this 3 can go into this place value right here, which is the thousands place. Can 3 go into 8? Yes, 3 can go into 8, and if I multiply it by a 2, I would get a 6. So that's the closest I'm going to get to 8. So then I would subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2, and then I bring down the 9. Make this a 29. Now I see how many times 3 can go into 29. 3 goes into 29 9 times because 9 times 3 is 27. Subtract those and get a difference of 2 and bring down the other 2 to make a 22. How many times can 3 go into 22? Well, I know that 3 times 7 is 21. Subtract and get a difference of 1. And then bring down the last number that I have, which is 6, to make this a 16. Now I can figure out how many times does 3 go into 16. 3 times 5 is 15, so if I subtract those, I get a difference of 1. Can 3 go into 1? No, so I know that 1 is going to be my remainder, so the answer is 2,975, remainder 1. That one was done correctly on the quiz last night. All right, so that was our review from last night. Hopefully you refresh your mind on how to solve division problems because we are going to be moving into multiplying and dividing fractions next week. So you are going to need to know how to do that. So you need to look back up at the must-dos for today and figure out what of those required activities you need to work on. Remember, you don't turn in any of the required activities. All of those go and get stapled into your notebooks for your notes. If for some reason you happen to finish all the required activities, please make sure that you go through and you start doing some of those deepen your knowledge activities. Okay? I only want to hear good things when I come back tomorrow, so please remember to be respectful. Okay? Have a great day.